Okay, I have a whole lot to say about all that, but I first passed the ball to Keyshawn, lifelong Lakers fan, grew up here in L.A.
Lifelong
Your biggest
complainer.
takeaway, are you about to complain or are you about to give them a pass for what you just saw yesterday?
Well, let's start off with the free throws, since that's what we ended with. Second half, 0.
0 free throws.
0 attempts. Damn, making them, they had 0 attempts.
0
This is the
attempts.
first time in a LeBron James-led team since 2015 that this has happened in the second half of a game.
Okay.
That doesn't make sense. We know when you look at the double-digit points, we know that LeBron James is pounding down low. We know that Anthony Davis is pounding down low. We know Rui is pounding down low. All of these things are happening within the paint, but we can't get a ticky-tack foul. We can't get a missed call, a makeup foul. Like, we can't get any of that. You're going to sit here and tell me that the Lakers are complaining that they're complaining now about getting fouls. Well, it's true though, Skip. It's true. It's right in front of us. That's not the reason that they lost the game. The reason that they lost the game is because they simply just didn't play well in the second half. The front line guys, they did pretty good. I mean, the 5 starters, what I mean by that is they all were in double digits in terms of points. Okay, you look at LeBron James, for instance, he was 19 or 12 from the field goal. 7, Anthony Davis was 11 from 17. You start looking at those numbers, D'Angelo Russell was 8 of 14. So they played well, the frontline guys. The bench didn't play well.
Yeah.
They didn't play well at all and didn't give them necessary help. And Phoenix is not chopped liver. Let's not forget there is a guy on the team named Kevin Durant. And then there's another guy named Booker. Okay, so we didn't lose to a team that you just scratch your head and go, what happened here? This isn't some bad team. This is one of the top teams that could potentially come out of the West. So you can tip your hat off to that. You can make all the excuses in the world. You know, when you talk about the free throw attempts this year alone, the Lakers in free throw attempts a game is 6. Free throws differential in a game that's first in the entire NBA.
Okay.
How could that not be the second half of this particular game? If this was all happening during the season, all of a sudden it goes away against the Phoenix Suns. I don't understand that. And then you say, well, people looking at Darwin Ham and Anthony Davis all of a sudden now. Okay, they didn't play well as they had prior to the All-Star break. They were playing extremely well. Now, all of a sudden, doesn't look that way, but you can't do nothing with it now. You got to ride it out. You can't do anything to the end of the season. In the summertime, if you make that decision that you want to move on from either one or both or whatever the case is. So raising that up right now is just a moot point as far as I'm concerned. They got to focus in on winning, coming out of the 9th spot, trying to increase into that top 5 spot because they're not far off to slide into, I don't know, 5, 6 spot. What are they, 3 games out of that spot? So they're not way off, Skip, at all. I'm not ready. If you want me to cancel the season, that's not going to happen.
Okay. All right. I hear everything you just said. But don't get me started on the Lakers and free throws. Don't get me started on what I saw yesterday, because I've told you before, having covered this league since the 70s when I covered your Los Angeles Lakers here for the LA Times in LA, referees will react to what they see in your aggression level from the start of a game, and they will respond accordingly to it. It's subliminal, it's psychological, but it's a fact that over time it will happen, that they will give you breaks at the free throw line if you create your breaks with effort and energy. And from the start, it is inexcusable that team showed up for that game on national TV. It was on ABC National at 12:30 here, 3:30 Eastern time, and gave up 45 first-quarter points to a team without Bradley Beal. And if you look at the Phoenix Suns this year, they have struggled offensively without Bradley Beal, but they did not struggle in the first quarter yesterday because 45 is a lot of points. Because if you start doing the math of 4 times 45 for a game,
but what does that have to do with free throws, Skip?
Okay, they're not ready to play. They came out lifeless and deadheaded the way they have fairly routinely through the year when you least expect it. When I think they're starting to get a hold of it, this happens. And what what damned them for the season, what indicted them for the season was in those, 6 games they played in the in-season tournament, culminating, 7 games, culminating with the championship game against the Indiana Pacers. Over those games, they ranked #1 in the NBA in defense. So I saw it with my own eyes. You saw it with your own eyes. You are capable of doing that.
They've been capable of doing a lot of things all year long.
All year long.
What you're saying has nothing to do.
Yes, it has
with
everything
the free
to
throws.
do. Yes, it does.
How?
Okay, so what happened with LeBron? So he's going to the free throw line yesterday, and he makes 1 of 4. So he's dead.
So they just not going to call him anymore because he's 1 of 4?
I have given you this over time. I've told you that he deserves more calls than he gets, but his free throw shooting is still so pathetic.
But you also
it is, Keyshawn, I'm not going to give him a pass today because he brought it up and he said, well, I think the narrative is we get to the free throw line. The narrative is that you're right at your career average from the free throw line, and it's pathetic. It's 73.5%.
So you told me once before, Skip, you told me they don't call free throw. I mean, they don't call fouls on LeBron because they don't want him.
No,
to
they
go to the
know
free
he's
throw
not.
line.
He's a lousy free throw shooter.
So they don't call him.
Remember back in the day when James Harden would get every call? He was shooting 90% from the free throw line. Kevin Durant gets calls because he's a
so they gonna reward you.
Career 90%.
So you get ready to sit up here and talk.
I'm not sitting up here. I'm telling you what the deal is.
You're going to tell me they're going to reward you.
This is the
because you make free throws. They're going to call the fouls for you.
Do you know
I've
how?
never heard such a thing about life.
Do you know how terrible it is to shoot 73.5% when you are the all-time leading scorer in the history of the league?
We all understand, Skip. We all understand that LeBron James.
Pathetic.
We all understand he's not Steph Curry at the free throw line. We all understand that.
Or he's not even Michael Jordan at the free throw line because Michael shot 84% and LeBron stuck at 73.5, and he's still there. How do you not improve over 21 years from the free throw line? And that's what's happening. That's why he doesn't get calls, because they're saying you're a lousy free throw shooter.
I can't believe that you really believe it.
No, I know it. I've been doing this for a long time. This is a big deal among coaches. You don't get calls because you're a lousy free throw shooter. It's happening. Do you know how?
I've never heard, and I probably hadn't been involved in covering basketball since the 70s.
Do you know how many points? Do you know how many points he's left on the table? What have I always called him? He's the greatest driver of the basketball I have ever seen.
Skip.
And yesterday, he did take
different, though.
Yeah.
You're telling me about missed free throws. I'm trying to tell you about opportunities to miss the free throws.
All right.
He's not getting the opportunity, at least last night. They did not get the opportunity to even miss the free throws.
So in attempts this year, they're 6th to LeBron's point. So they're 6th in attempts.
Yes.
But they're 18th in free throw percentage. So 72%. And that gets dragged down by the guy who gets to shoot the most free throws.
The conversation's about last night.
I know. I got it.
You're trying to convince me that the refs sit back in their meetings and say, well, let's not call fouls on them because they're not going to make them anyway.
They just know because they really know the game.
So they really?
Yeah.
I can't believe that you said that they're not calling.
This has been going on for years and years. And it went on yesterday because they came out and gave up 45 in the first quarter. And the refs are like, if you guys don't want to play, we're not going to bail you out. That's what happened yesterday. We're not going to bail you out. They play no defense because most of the year, as you know, I brought up again and again, little known fact, for much of the year, the Lakers give up the most three-point shots in games. So they play little to no defense. Now they've moved up slightly to 28.
If somebody's pulling the trigger on you and popping down threes, it doesn't mean you're not playing defense. That just means you're not getting out fast enough for them to knock down the threes. You're going up against a good three-point shooting team. When you got Booker and you got Kevin Durant that's extremely wet at the bottom of the bucket, and if you don't get out in front of them,
guess who was extremely wet yesterday? Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal.
But Grayson Allen can hit threes, though. That's all he basically can do.
So let's remember, on three-point attempts offensively, they're dead last in the league, so they don't try to shoot that many threes. They're a decent three-point shooting team if you look at their percentage, but they don't try that many threes. So what's happening is, in games like this, you're going to get killed at the three-point line because they actually shot it pretty well themselves from the three-point line and made 15.
42%.
They made 15.
They both have 42%.
Okay, that'll work. But you can't give up 17.
Yes, but if they're
17,
not
and your
getting-
average of you allow 14
If they
a game.
catching and shooting and they can't get out there,
Yeah.
that's not because it's lousy defense. That's because the shooter has it in his hands and it's gone. They're not giving you an opportunity to get out there. They're spreading the floor on them. They're hitting into the corners. Those are corner threes. That is a very difficult situation if you're not already out there to run from the key or wherever they are lined up defensively to get out underneath it.
Okay, so Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal go 12 of 22 from three. What do you think's going to happen?
Yes.
You're going to lose at Phoenix, even without
because
Bradley Beal.
It sounds egregious because the names that you attach to the threes.
That's what you're
sounds
attaching.
egregious.
Yes, it does.
Because you don't expect for them. But Grayson Allen actually can shoot threes. He's not a bad three-point shooter.
He's a good NBA basketball player. He plays good defense. Okay, we'll see you.
I don't like it because of the whole his attitude
the
that
tripping
dude.
stuff and all that.
I don't like it because of that.
But you know what? He's actually carved out quite a niche for himself.
Yes.
And now he's found a team with two big scores, actually three big
that
scores,
he gets an opportunity
which allow him to get some shots.
The same way that J.J. Redick was in his career, find a team that'll let you knock down open threes.
Okay. Now back to Anthony Davis. Again, as you point out, his numbers yesterday look okay because he winds up with, what did he get here? He had 22. And
he was 11 of 17,
14.
22. He played 42
14.
minutes in the game.
Okay. Unfortunately, a target of much abuse on the internet and on postgame shows, Yusuf Nurkic winds up with 22 rebounds yesterday, including 7 offensive rebounds. And much of that, a large part of that, falls on Anthony Davis's effort to screen him off and keep him off the backboards because everybody questions Nurkic's effort, and he gets 22 rebounds against the Lakers, and they beat you on the boards 51-34. Even though AD did do his part on his end, he gets 14 defensive rebounds, but he gives up 7 to Nurkic.
Yeah, but I can't screen you out if I'm the individual taking the bunnies and missing them, and you already underneath the rim. I can't screen you out. Anthony Davis missed easy chippies that he should have made and didn't follow his shot. And so when Nurkic is standing there, the ball is falling in his lap. Let's not say that AD's not down there battling for the boards because that's not the way Nurkic was getting those rebounds. Let's not do that.
Okay, but as AD said himself after the game, maybe I complained too much a couple of times. I did not hustle back.
That may be the case.
All right. So, again, when Nurkic gets 22 rebounds, there's a lack of effort and energy and just sheer, we want this. Whatever that desire was not there yesterday.
That's the case for whatever it was.
Okay.
I mean, what is this, the third? What did they come back on Wednesday? What was yesterday? Sunday. So that's 4 days from after All-Star break.
Yeah.
Teams are going to be rusty.
Okay.
I watched the Clippers last night and looked at that and was like, Lord, have mercy.
Okay, but they didn't have Paul George.
Golden State. Regardless, I'm talking about the effort of the individuals that was playing extremely well prior to All-Star break.
James Harden shot 2 for 10 from 3. That didn't help taking up the slack.
Exactly.
Right?
And look at the same thing with Golden State situation coming back off All-Star break.
1 of 10 from 3.
I look at those things and I say, well, if you were talking about 4 days from now, 5 days from now, a week from now, let's have a different conversation.
All right. And LeBron did not play in the first game back at Golden State. I don't know.
So he's still on All-Star break.
Okay. So how do you play a half of basketball in the All-Star game, the first half, but then you don't play against Golden State at all?
All-Star game is different, though, Skip.
Okay.
That's because you run up and down the floor. It's a different, it's just, I'm shooting from half court. It's a different deal.
Okay, so
it was 200, what was it, 400 points scored between the two teams? Like, come on.
So if you're LeBron's teammate, you're cool with him not playing the first game out of the break after playing a half of basketball in the All-Star game?
It depends on what the situation was going into the All-Star game. If we know that, hey, this is going to be a rest day or whatever the case may be, yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that.
Okay. Then he comes back against San Antonio. They look pretty good. Wembanyama has a big game, but it doesn't matter. Explain that to me, because he's playing like the MVP of the league, but they can't win a game. That's a whole nother issue. And yet, then you come back after you've beaten San Antonio, and I think, here you go again. And against the Phoenix Suns on national TV, you don't show up. Something is amiss there. Something is wrong because they're now just clinging barely to that last.
They're 1-1.
They're in
since
the
the
10th
All-Star
spot,
break.
right?
They're not
ninth. Golden State's a half game back.
Yeah, they're 9, but they're not far out of 5 and 6. They're not far out. It's not 10 games out.
Do they feel like they're going to challenge for 5 and 6? Because I don't
even know
think
how many
so.
games are left, Skip. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll put it this way. I wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs. That's what I would say.
Okay.
I would not want to see them no matter
where. Top is going to see
wherever they're at. I would not want to see them come playoff time.
Okay. Right now, Minnesota and Oklahoma City are tied at the top, and do I think that LeBron and AD are afraid of Oklahoma City or Minnesota?
No,
I don't.
No.
I don't.
Why would they be?
With Denver lurking there, you wouldn't want to have to deal with Denver.
Denver might not want to have to deal with the Lakers the second time around, Skip.
I don't know.
You don't know.
It feels like they owe them. They own them.
Yeah, it may feel like they own them, but there's something about enough's enough. We're not taking anymore. It's playoff time now.
Yeah.
Just like they showed whatever it's worth for the tournament, they showed you they can elevate their game when they wanted to against Indiana or Vegas. Better yet, the games that they played in Vegas. Never mind the spread out games of the 7.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the 2 or 3 that they had to play in Vegas. They showed you when the time comes on, they can turn that switch on.
Yeah. Okay, they're going to turn it on then from the 9th spot?
They turned it on last year from
whatever it was. I think the last.
Was it the last? No, was it? I think
7th?
they were in the play-in, but what was it?
Or did they have the play-in?
No, they had the play-in.
No,
they had the play-in.
Yeah.
Okay. They turned it in. They turned it on from the play-on last year from the play-in. Do I think they can do similar things? Absolutely, I believe they can.
Okay, so now we're back to Darvin Ham. And on every other night, it looks like they're not playing hard for Darvin Ham, and I don't understand why. Because I still like him. I believe in him as a basketball coach. And yet they seem to turn on him. And if anything's going to change, it's going to be him. And I thought that might happen at the All-Star break, but I think Jeannie and Rob Pelinka don't like to make dramatic, big in-season moves. If he's going to be gone, it feels like it's not going to happen until after the season. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.